Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to Tekpon. Today our guest is Anna, the head of growth at SaaS.group. Hello.
Hi, excited to be here.
We've seen SaaS.group all over LinkedIn, so please tell us what is SaaS.group.
Yes, we're doing some good work then. Well, SaaS Group is a PE company that buys bootstrap SaaS businesses.
Okay,
In
do
a
you only focus
nutshell,
on bootstrapped founders?
good question. So we currently are a bit more flexible about that. We recently acquired a few companies that have raised money before and that are more enterprise level companies. So I wouldn't say it's like a hard requirement, but it's a strong preference. Yes.
And on average, how many companies do you own right now, if you can
Right
disclose it?
now, yeah, sure. We're 15 brands, and I think we're closing the 16th any day now, and maybe the 17th by the end of summer. So we're really growing. I mean, this new vision that we have is to establish the biggest platform of bootstrap SaaSes in the world.
Wow, okay. And how do you manage so many companies? Do you have separate employees for each one? Do you have employees that work on multiple projects? How does it work?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. So first of all, yeah, sure. I mean, we're very founder friendly and team friendly, and this is something that I think really sets us apart from any other PE company. And what it means is we're not just buying a product, we're buying the entire company, including, the team. We don't want the team to leave because these people are definitely responsible for the success of the company. They know the product, they took it there.
Yes.
So we want the team to stay, and we're doing everything to accommodate everyone. So obviously, we're not tying them down. So if some people want to leave, they're leaving. But yes, if there is a shortage, if people left the company, then we've got a central team. I think we're about 40 people now,
Hmm.
and central team has marketers, content managers, product managers, finance, so you name it. And if any of the brands need us, we jump there.
That's awesome. So it's like a one big family.
Oh yes.
That's awesome. And do you talk with each other on a daily basis, or how does it work? Is it more of a distance in between SaaS Group and the company's owned? How close is the
Okay.
collaboration? Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously, like this is one of the challenges of such a rapidly growing company because we're acquiring new companies and we're building teams and growing teams. And yeah, sometimes it's a bit overwhelming in terms of communication. But first of all, we really try to establish intentional communication and, talk to each other as much as possible. There are learning sessions, there are all hands. And then if you have a project, then you're definitely communicating with each other, right? No one's really stopping you from doing that.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of activities and that we do to make sure that everyone knows what each brand is and what people do there. And for example, even at the central team, we're hiring really rapidly there. And each time we have a new person, we do introductions of the entire team.
Wow.
And at first, I'm a fairly recent joiner. So it was 6 months ago. And it took maybe like 15-20 minutes to do all the introductions. And now we're through 40 because there are just so many of us. But
Yeah.
it makes total sense and a huge difference because we all know each other. It's not just, I'm Anna, head of growth, but I actually talk like about what I do outside of work. So people
Understand.
know that I cook and yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. And what's usually the sweet spot of companies? Pre-seed, seed, or do you look at the specific number of employees? How does it work?
Okay, so again, we're very flexible, but there are some strong preferences.
Okay.
One of them being the companies we're looking for are usually older than 5 years old. So they're established on the market, they have found their product market fit. And the ARR that we're looking into is between 1 million to 10 million. So we're looking a bit for bigger companies right now, because we're growing, and you can also call us like a bootstrap PE because, like I said, we are acquiring profitable companies, and we put that profit back into buying more companies.
Oh wow.
So yeah, now because so many products that we bought have experienced pretty good growth over the last 2 years. Now we're able to buy bigger companies. So product-led growth, between 1 and 10 million ARR, older than 5 years old, fully remote, preferably, and having an international culture because, we are spread over, I don't know, 32 countries, something like this.
Wow, that's awesome. And is profitability also a must?
Yes. So this is the only thing that I would say is a requirement.
Okay, it makes sense. And are you also planning to sell them in the future for a profit, or just keep them and create an ecosystem?
No, no, we are pretty ambitious, and we got this ambition like this year because we saw this growth. And like I said, the big vision now is to build the biggest platform for SaaS businesses. So we are about to reach 100 million in ARR, maybe in the next year, and
Okay,
then, inevitably just grow into a unicorn, maybe.
that's incredible. Wow. And I love to hear a favorite success story of acquisition.
Oh, good question. So I think I'm not going to talk about like just one story, but there were a couple of those, very similar, with the founders that came to us, thinking that, I'm just going to cash out and go and maybe focus on another product. And then during the due diligence and during this pretty lengthy process, I mean, we're streamlining our acquisition process to like 6 to 8 weeks, but you're still talking to people, you're building goodwill. So you're building this relationship, and collaboration. And what happened in between the due diligence, these people decided that, SaaS.group is pretty cool and I'm going to stay.
Wow.
And now, yeah, it's just so great to have the founders with the product. They switched their roles, they focused on something that they really love about the product, but they stayed to live the legacy and to make sure that the product has the vision that they had at the very beginning.
So in a way, you convinced founders of getting their passion back for their
Oh, yes.
product. That says it all. So
Yeah.
fantastic. I love to hear the story of SaaS Group, how it started, if you know it, and if you can share with us.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I know it very vaguely. So it started with Tim Schumacher. He was, I believe, the first founder of SaaS.group, and it was 2017, and he had his exit. And after this exit, he decided to create SaaS.group. And then they had only their funds. We are not a fund. We don't really have big investors, and we're not looking for investors. So they had their own funds put into SaaS.group, and they bought the first couple of companies. And when those grew, they put the funds back, and this is how it all started.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And well, when did you join exactly? 6 months ago, you said.
6 months ago, I think 9th of January.
What has been your biggest challenge in this role?
Oh, good question. I think my challenge is in my head mostly because I it's difficult maybe for me because I usually worked in way smaller companies where the scope was way smaller and the opportunities were smaller as well. So now it's a bit difficult for me to grasp just how much I can do and, the people that I can engage with. There is a podcast and I have honestly so much freedom in this role, which I'm totally thankful for. But just getting it all in my head and understanding that, there is this and there is this. So you don't have to stay in your cage. You can explore. That's so far our biggest challenge.
And did you start the podcast, or was it already started and you just took it over?
No, it was started by me. It was actually a funny story, how I got hired. I had a podcast before,
Okay.
and yeah, Tobias, one of the founders, I reached out to him to be a guest on my podcast, and he never replied. But then after a month, he said, "Okay, so I checked the podcast, and you should do it for us."
Wow.
And yeah, so they hired me because of the podcast and asked to do a podcast for SaaS.group as well.
And you had a podcast as a side hustle for yourself, right? Not for another company.
No, it was for another company. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Wow.
Yeah, it was
And
a tech startup.
also in SaaS or other industry.
Well, yeah, I think you can call it SaaS. It was a low code development platform.
Hmm. And how does your day-to-day look as a head of growth? Apart from the podcast, what do you actually do
Oh,
as the rest
good
of the,
question.
you know?
So much.
Yeah.
So, apart from, always communicating with possible guests, so it's sorting the guests, researching about the companies, making sure I know market trends and, what other people are talking about, checking your podcast out because you've got amazing guests there as well. So, just making sure that I know what to talk about. Then apart from the podcast, there are different kinds of content as well. There is social media, there are blog posts, there are events that we do for founders. So we had one in Hamburg, and now we're going to have another one in Barcelona. So kind of like a lot of things here and there, but yeah, trying to rely on the team, and there is huge support. So it's easier with them.
And for people that do not know it, what is the podcast about?
So, saas.unbound is the podcast that I host, and it's the podcast for the founders and about the founders. And it's an interview with mostly SaaS founders, mostly bootstrap. But again, it's not a requirement; it's just a preference because this is our target market at SaaS.group, right? But I'm honestly hunting for a good story.
I understand. Not always for your ICP or somebody
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's awesome. What are the most successful go-to-market strategies that you used at SaaS Group?
Oh, good question. Because I'm not directly involved with any of the brands, I wouldn't be the best person to talk about it. But yeah, because we're mostly product-led growth, product-led growth companies, this is the strategy that we have.
I understand. And what is the vision for the future of the company?
Well, like I said, fingers crossed, we buy, I don't know, 100, 200, 500 more companies and then become the platform for bootstrap SaaSes.
But for example, if a founder sells his bootstrapped SaaS company with 10 employees, he sells all his shares to SaaS Group, but does he also get some shares in SaaS Group as well?
No, as far as I know, it's not really how it works. So when a founder approaches us, usually what they want, and again, that's something that we're very flexible about, because just the nature of the founder, they want something to be done quick. Usually they want a full cash out,
I
right?
understand.
As fast as possible. That's why, our due diligence is so streamlined. but they can also share a part of the company, but we haven't had this situation yet. Mostly they just want to sell everything and go.
I understand. And do you have any competitors? Is there another company that does this?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're a little bit standing out in the in this industry because of the ARR that we're looking into. They're not super small, but they're not something that a Constellation software would buy, right? So we're somewhere in between. So yeah, Constellation and maybe Tiny. Yeah. So
Okay,
definitely, yeah. But if there are no competitors, it's no fun.
correct. And did you also target a SaaS company just for their functionalities? For example, let's say that you had 20 companies that needed an email marketing automation tool, and you decided to, I guess you all use your own SaaS tools inside the companies.
Yeah, sure. We're trying to eat our own dog food, but we buy standalone products, right? We do not merge them with anything. We use them, yes, but it's not like we can just go to an email marketing tool and buy them, right? There is a lot of work involved. So we're not, at the moment at least, this is not our strategy, right? I think maybe later in the days when we grow and we understand that, yeah, sure, we can operate completely out of our own software. Yeah, but now it's not really the case.
I understand. And I love to hear your backstory. So how you started your career?
Oh, that's a wild ride. So my background is in marketing. I got my double bachelor degree for some reason in marketing. So 2 degrees, both in marketing, doesn't make any sense. But I started my career at a huge consulting company in China, and then I moved to a smaller company in Malaysia, and there I even started my own company, my own brand of cookies. So that was
Nice.
fun, and it worked for like 4 years, I think. We were pretty okay. We distributed in Malaysia and in Singapore. And then all of a sudden, I decided that, marketing's not for me. I'm going to be a chef. And yeah, 2 years of my life went that way. And then I decided that no, that was just a moment of weakness. I just wanted to eat really good food. And yeah, and it went back to marketing. So, like I said, my previous company was a tech startup, low code platform. And right after there, I was snatched by SaaS.group.
And you interviewed so many SaaS founders. What are the top 3 things that you learned from them?
Top 3 things. You caught me. First, I think ship fast. So don't overthink it. Just test whatever you have in mind. I think that's my favorite. Second, it's never too late to try. And I've interviewed quite a few founders that started their companies later. And the third one, and the third one, and the third one probably about like choosing VC funding over bootstrapping or vice versa, because I feel like it's such a tag of war right now. Like I raised some funds and I'm successful, or you're not successful because you didn't struggle as much as I did. So I think it doesn't really matter as long as it's a good product and as long as you've got a reason for choosing what you're choosing.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it.
No
And I'm curious
problem.
to know, do you have any competitors in your portfolio?
And of the companies,
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. We've got like some complementary products per se, but no, not real competitors yet, no.
But maybe in the future that will be the
Maybe in
case.
the future, yes. I mean, we have calls with companies that want to sell to us, and and sometimes they're competitors of the companies that we own. So sometimes they're a bit concerned, like, what if you buy us and you change your strategy completely, and you merge us guys and like eliminate our company and just enrich the other one. But this is not the case. We are very proud of the fact that we raise standalone independent companies that are profitable the way they are. And we are ready to include all our entrepreneurial mindset and all the resources and all the people that we have to keep it that way and to grow each company to the next level.
Okay, okay. And I love to hear what's your favorite SaaS product that you use.
My favorite SaaS product. Oh, that's a good question. Is Riverside a SaaS product?
Yes,
Okay.
I think it's the perfect
Uh,
answer.
yeah, I love Riverside. I mean, I'm no longer incredibly happy with it. I mean, it's got its glitches.
Yeah,
But yeah, still, it's just so straightforward and simple. So yeah, I'm very forgiving.
me too, me too.
Yeah.
Uh, and one last thing I was curious to know now on the end, do you also acquire market leaders, or are you focusing more on, let's say, fourth position, fifth position, and helping them get market share?
Okay, that's a good question. I mean, if they fall under our requirements and they are a market leader, then why not? I mean, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so far I think we're acquiring a bit smaller companies that still need a bit of a boost or maybe need to be reborn, right? So they're profitable, they've got their loving customers, right? But there is still room to grow.
Thank you so much. This podcast was incredible. It's
Thank
awesome what
you.
you do, and very insightful. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. It was great being here.
Thank you so much.